Hello, yngwoodsta. First let me say thanks for the video response. You're actually the first person to make a video response to one of my videos. Let me first start off with, you started talking about saying that homosexual sex isn't normal. And I think you and I can agree with that. You know, it's not normal. Only 10% of people engage in homosexual sex. But that doesn't make it wrong, because a minority engages in it. Whether or not something's normal doesn't make it wrong, you know? I mean, I assume that people who watch South Park, that's not normal. Most people don't watch it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't watch it. It's a good show. Then you talk about the mind and the body as though they're separate and they have their own plans about what to do. The mind is a construct of the brain, and the brain is created by our genetic code. So, the genes control what the mind has to say. So the body does affect the mind. You go on to saying the mind doing stuff against the design of the body. I don't know what you're talking about, the design of the body. I don't know if you're talking about God designed us or whatnot. But we do stuff against the design of our body all the time. You know, we evolved to live in Africa. I live in America, and, you know, obviously my conditions are very radically different than what my body evolved to handle. You know, I live in a house with air conditioning, and I'm sitting on the couch right now. So the things we do are against the design of the purposes our body was designed to do all the time. We don't dictate how our lives should be lived by what we were designed to do. You say that the conversation divorces itself from anal sex. You know, I'm not trying to divorce the conversation from it. I don't even remember saying anything about anal sex in my video. You say you want to talk about it. That's fine if you want to talk about it. And you say you lower the entire conversation down to this act. For me, that's two different things, you know, between anal sex and homosexual love as it is. Because obviously there are homosexuals who don't engage in anal sex. And there are heterosexual couples who do. So I think that those two actions are not necessarily on the same thing, on the same pace. The anus was not designed for penetration. Again, yeah, I'll agree with that. The anus wasn't designed for penetration. But whether or not it was designed for that, it doesn't really matter. The penis has no business in an anus, and therefore it is wrong sex. Again, you're making a moral jump from that. Can you please explain that? Just because it's not designed in such a manner and wasn't meant in that purpose, how do you make that moral jump? How do you say it wasn't meant to be that way, therefore it's wrong? That's not very coherent as far as I'm considered. As far as I consider it. Obviously, my face was not designed to hold my glasses. You can't say, well, therefore it's wrong. You can't make that moral jump. Then you say, what is the name of the gay gene that I alluded to? It is XQ28. And I have two links in the sidebar I'll give you. I have a lot of links for this video. You go on to say sexuality and sexual attraction is learned. You don't make any citations. You just assert this. Could you please cite your source? Cite a study that shows that sexuality and sexual attraction is learned, and that genetics plays absolutely no part. See, I'm not arguing that genetics plays an absolute role in our sexuality, but it of course plays, I would consider, a majority role. At least 60% of our sexuality is caused by our genes, and yes, there is some room for nurture over nature to affect us. Because you don't want to say in Africa there's a different set of beauty. Again, that's true. But again, that's nurture. That does not mean that nature does not play zero role. Obviously, there is a combination. You go on to say, is homosexuals the only ones who cannot control their sexual attraction. Like, you go on the list, pedophiles, incest, and bestiality. No, homosexuals are not the only ones who can't control their sexuality. Heterosexuals can't control their sexuality. I am a heterosexual. I cannot just start being gay. That's not something I can do. Again, I did some digging about the causes of bestiality, incest, and pedophilia. I didn't find anything for bestiality. I could not find what the causes were. Incest, I already knew this, but there's believed to be genes to prevent incest. And obviously I'll link the site, but obviously there are some causes where incest is caused by our genetics. Genetic sexual attraction is a very knowledgeable event in people, that happens to people. And I'll give a link to that. Then you talk about pedophilia. I went to Psychology Today or something. I'll link it. And from them, they said that there is no known cause for pedophilia. But they suggested that pedophilia might be inheritable from families, in the same family, that it might run in the family line. Therefore, it would be genetic. So it could be caused by genetics. But even if it was, we're talking about homosexuality, we're not talking about pedophilia. Pedophilia is, by its definition, an act there's no consent. The child cannot consent. Bestiality is an act when an animal cannot consent. Homosexuality is between two adult males or two adult females who consent to, sexual intercourse. You state that you learned attraction for girls. Again, can you please cite your source? Obviously, as males grow up and as females grow up, we hit puberty and our sexual hormones start raging, and that's when we start having sexual attraction to the opposite sex or the same sex. If parents felt the way I felt, I wouldn't be here. No, I would be here. I'm straight, so if my parents felt the way I am, I'd be here. 14. I'd have to be lying to say homosexual sex is correct sex. I've never made the claim that homosexual sex was correct sex. I don't think there is a correct sex. I think homosexual sex is correct sex for homosexuals. I don't recommend heterosexuals engage in homosexual sex because they won't like it. So I don't think homosexuals should engage in heterosexual sex. They don't like it. So it just depends on the person and their personal preferences. So I don't think there's one way people should do it and that's it. Obviously it depends on the person. You then say that you like to have a dialogue about this or whatnot. That's fine. That's cool. You want to make a video response to this video. I gotta warn you, I'll be out of town from the 2nd of June to the 12th. So if you don't make a video response by the 2nd and I don't make a reply, wait till after the 12th and I'll eventually make a response if you make a response. I don't know if you want to. But those are my answers to your questions. Again, thanks for making the video response and have a good day.